My name is Amara and I'm on a mission here today to find out if people are reading enough. I'm also here to expose a reading crisis that we're facing in the UK and around the world. Now, such as myself, when I was growing up as a young child to my teens, I had a difficulty in reading because of my dyslexia. To overcome that problem, I had to pick up a book one day and start to read. Since then, my reading improved. Reading the book itself had made me confident academically and personally. When I was younger, which was like when I was like infant and in primary school, I had like a really bad difficulty in reading, and even like in high school. Whereas like the other children in my class would like be able to read a bit better than I did, but me on the other hand, I always struggled to read. Even like the most basics. I mean, like when I was in primary school, everyone was reading like all these books, like for instance like this with like all this writing in there and everything, and you know there were no pictures in there. I was still reading books with like pictures in there. A 2014 report by UNESCO found that 780 million adults can't read or write around the world. That's 1 in 10. In some countries they're not even able to read nor write, but some are able to construct simple sentences but unable to deal with everyday literacy beyond a basic limited vocabulary. In the UK, a 2030 report by a reading agency states that 16 to 24-year-olds have lower levels of literacy and that 1 in 5 children can't read well by the age of 11. I'm here today to interview people around the college to see their views on books and if they read books or not. Do you read books?
Not as much as I probably should.
No.
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 Oh.
I find them boring. Yes.
Sometimes.
Yeah, I do.
It gives you a release from this mundane world.
There's a lot of books use words that you may not have come across. So to me, kind of like, I want to know what that means, I want to know what that is, so I then get another book, like a dictionary, and find out what the words are.
Read books?
I don't really. I'd like to read a lot more, but I do read comics and graphic novels, if that counts, simply because there's images and I find the artwork interesting as well as the narratives.
So that's a no?
It's a no, unfortunately.
I got 2 in high school, in secondary school, and a lot of like most of the children and everything that time they were fluent in reading. We had to read like textbooks out loud in year 7, and like I think it was in science, and I had to do it, and I was the first one. Like she picked me out of everyone, and it was the worst. It was horrible. I had like people like whispering behind my back and like you stupid, why'd you read?
Our 16 to 24-year-olds are amongst the worst in the world for English and maths.
3 out of 4 third graders are not proficient in reading.
An alarming number of school leavers lack even basic skills in reading and numeracy.
Shameful statistic to us in the UK is that over 20% of children leave school with very poor literacy.
It's really upsetting to see how literacy skills in the UK have diminished over the years. I wanted to interview someone from the English department to see how they feel with these crises.
When it is true to say a lot of young people and adults come to the GCSE again to do an assessment first, which is like a written assessment. From that, they'll answer a series of questions, and you can tell pretty much straight away if their reading's not too good, because they'll either not answer the questions or they'll like push it aside and say, I can't do that, or I'm bored of it. So it's easy to see, and then you work with them from there. Do I encourage my students to read? Yes, because it's so important for their vocabulary, and it gets them into books, gets them into the topic that we're studying, it gets their confidence built.
I was 15 as a teenager, and this book was going around and everyone was intrigued, and I was reading. There were times where I had to stop and reread it again, but I was so determined to understand what was going on in this book. I was like, you know what, I'm going to break that spell today. I'm going to break that horrid habit that I have. But I didn't completely break it, but I did improve on it. That's what I did. I've come to Waterstones to talk to a manager who's been handling books for nearly 20 years now. Would you say like bookstores are shutting down, or like libraries or anything like that?
Yes, I think
with the sort of internet and Amazon and whatever, there is less call for people to buy books. Certainly with the way Waterstones works, we try and save money in other ways so that we can stay open.
Is there any type of books that you would recommend for young adults, children and adults at all?
Yeah, I could probably think of about 3. Follow me around here. This is my favourite book ever. It's called The Book Thief, which they did turn into a film a couple of years ago, but the film's not very good. Very emotional, but quite easy to read, you know, if you're not too keen on reading.
Is it for like young adults that you'll say, or like?
It's based for young adults, but they do a cover of the same book that we also put on the adult section as well. So it's young adults.
So it's a bit of a mix
adults.
as well.
Yeah. Who Let the Gods Out? This one is sort of a cross between, do you know, the Percy Jackson books?
Yeah,
Who writes, you know. We've got the Greek gods in it, so there's that aspect to it as well. But it's a lot more humorous. It's more like a David Walliams style humour or silly humour. Now this guy, Jonas Jonasson, he's written 3 books. They're all totally independent. You can read any you like. But this one, The Girl Who Saved the King of Sweden, is probably the best one of the 3. And it's about a young black South African girl who lives in South Africa. She's walking down the pavement one day and she's run over by a white guy, but because he's white and she was black and it's South Africa, it was her fault even though she was on the pavement. And then her sort of penance for being found guilty, she has to go and work for him. But she's a lot cleverer than he is, and various things happen, and eventually she gets to Sweden, and there's lots of things that go on. But it's so funny, the sort of imagination of this author, of the ideas of what can happen, you'd never think in a million years.
My main big tip in reading is read something that you enjoy reading. Don't read stuff that you don't, because that's just going to be really difficult. Look, a lot of people say they can't get into that, they can't imagine it. You just have to try, because the way you do it is you have to train your brain to do it. Because I have talked to some people and they've said to me before that, they don't read books because they can't imagine that. Because when you read, you start to like picture it in your head, and that's the best thing about reading, is that when you picture the whole world in your head and you feel like you're there, you feel like you're actually there, and it's like you're experiencing yourself. I'm gonna say it right now, hands down. Just by reading books, just by reading fictional books, my whole life improved. My confidence, my concentration skills, my writing, my reading. Just go and read. I mean, like, it's like amazing, and like